Welcome to another episode of the Metal Roundup. And today we are joined by a special guest, an incredible vocalist of the one and only Tesseract, and also does other bits and pieces in the music and gaming world currently. We're delighted to have with us the one and only Dan Tompkins from Tesseract. Welcome, sir.
There he is. He's here. Dan, you don't need to clap for yourself. You're
joining in.
I like it.
I was clapping for you guys.
Who's this Dan guy? He sounds great. Yeah. Where's he come? No, but welcome, sir. Yeah. So I guess to position where we are at the moment in our conversation, where do we find yourself in your musical projects? So Tesseract had an album a couple of years ago, War of Being, which is fabulous. Where are you right now? What projects are you currently involved in right now?
You know what? Just before I do that, I did want to say something about you guys as well, because when you guys first started out, I was watching you guys develop your YouTube channels, and it's nice to see how far you guys have come. Because I've been streaming since just before COVID, so I was on Twitch. That's when I jumped on the bandwagon there, and then it's just been an amazing journey. And it's nice to see how, in terms of like how the YouTube React community in the metal world's kind of like grown. And it's really interesting for me because I've just been sat back watching it and enjoying it. And then you guys have been jumping on Twitch, and I've been joining you guys on Twitch and sharing the community space. I just wanted to mention that. Really enjoy it, and good on you guys for doing it. But like the music that I'm doing is still the same as it's always been, really. So Tesseract is obviously the main gig, and that's what I'm here for. And yeah, we are working on new material. So we're at quite an important place at the minute, because we are about to become released from all record deals and all publishing. So we're poised to be in a very interesting position. So there are things in the background that are happening, and there's new music being written on a weekly basis now, and everyone's really inspired. And there's been a lot of changes behind scenes in terms of team and management, that kind of stuff. So we've had like a complete overhaul of who we are as a band and a business, and we've got a nice plan for the next few years. So I obviously can't say too much about that, unfortunately. I would love to release all that right now, but I can't. But it's an exciting time. Looking to be back out doing festivals this summer. So we're doing Rock am Ring, Rockin' Park, Hellfest, Grass Pop. Getting around to those festivals we haven't reached in a while, but we're bringing a great live show. I'm not sure whether you've seen any recent stuff like from Resurrection Festival. Those videos have popped up recently. But we've got a nice live show now, and it's kind of something. We're creating a new benchmark for what Tesseract is live. So in terms of the way that we present ourselves has changed dramatically ever since we started. As a band, we've always grown strategically, slow, grassroots, upwards, and we've retained a very steadfast and strong following over the years. And we don't really write music to appease anybody other than ourselves, if I'm being very honest. But we are very conscious of our fan base. So when we released War of Being, for example, we released an 11-minute track as the first single, which goes against the grain of how bands are releasing music these days. But we did it homage to the fans, as to especially the old school fans. And that's where we are now, is like we're very centered around delivering to the fans. We're centered around delivering for ourselves as well. And so, yeah, I think it's going to be a very, very busy decade, hopefully. Because we're planning big things and big growth, and it'd be interesting to see what happens there. And I'm doing the thing that I always do now, is that when I start to talk, I go off on tangents. So you're going to have to rein me in.
we had Andy coughing.
Yeah. No, it's such an interesting time for us as a band, because the way that we perform has changed, like I say, dramatically. And
in what way? Sorry if I interrupt there.
We're a much more theatrical project than what we used to be in presentation and performance. We've always, tried to develop atmosphere and attitude on stage, and it's always in one form or another felt a little bit forced and a bit unnatural for us. Music first and foremost, but I think that kind of reflects our personalities, because we're all quite awkward people, and I know you do get that. It's quite prevalent in the music industry. You meet a lot of weird people, but we definitely are weird. And so like being comfortable on stage has been something that's been a long journey. We're wearing more interesting things on stage for starters. I'm wearing makeup, I'm getting into a character, and I'm projecting concepts that have been written in the studio and bringing them into the live front. And that's something that has only recently happened since War of Being, because the whole concept behind that album has come at a really important time in life where I'm discovering my own neurodivergency. And so I'm going down the journey of ADHD and autism at the minute. I've gone down the private road, and it when you start to look into that stuff, and it's real, and it's that there's been something not quite sitting right for a long time, and you start to dive into this stuff and you realize, actually, I've been experiencing things completely in a different way to most typical people. And then you realize why social interactions have been so difficult in the past, and you look at your journey. And basically what I'm trying to say is that War of Being was very much about ego. It was about understanding how we project that false ego, and it can take over who we are. And that album is very much about that introspective look on tearing the mask away and realizing that you are someone actually very different when you take all that facade away. And so that, coupled with performing and appearing differently and projecting a character and being more dramatic and theatrical on stage, has been a massive transformation since Sonder. If you look at where we were from Sonder to War of Being, drastically different. And I'm sure like the long time fans will agree with that in a live scenario as well. And also it just happens that, we've grown so steadily, is that we're now at a point where we can bring out quite interesting production with us. So at Resurrection Festival this year, we brought out a big LED screen. We had animations to accompany the concepts for a lot of the War of Being songs. And it was a much more, and also we had like a very weird kind of like, we invested in some like this material that's quite hard, but quite, you can manipulate it into certain shapes. So we created like an angled rock formation over the video screen.
Oh, right, yeah.
To create the vibe we were looking for, to kind of reflect the strange land, which is part of the world that we created within War of Being. And so in a nutshell, it's just been an amazing time for self-discovery, and also for acceptance, like personal acceptance. And that's not just from like a personal perspective, but also from like a creative perspective. So we're writing things now with such a different viewpoint on it, and conceptually as well with the new stuff. Like we're moving into a territory which is kind of like in the same philosophical vein as War of Being, but it's a completely different palette. And like I'm doing things with my voice that are different. So like every album, my voice has evolved and there's new aspects to it. And I'm always looking to grow as a singer. And obviously I teach singing as well. So it's like it all goes hand in hand. So very busy, very productive, very exciting time in the world of Tesseract.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
What an injection of energy you must be getting from, especially with the change of management label kind of setup as well. That's going to add some excitement as you kind of go on your own. And also, I think you're underselling it a bit by saying you have makeup. Like I saw you in Brighton, I think it was a year or so ago. Half of your face is completely painted. Like,
it's interesting. It actually started very subtly. When we played War of Being for the first time was at a festival in Transylvania, and I can't remember the name of the festival, but it was set in this beautiful town. The really odd windows in roofs that you get in Transylvania that look like eyes. Have you ever seen those?
I don't recall them.
You should check them out. You only find it in Transylvania. So I don't know why I wanted to talk about that. There's the first memory I got when I thought about that. So weird. But apparently that's where a lot of the myths came from. Like bats would fly in through the windows, and vampires would be, Nosferatu vibes. So I actually started to wear a little bit of makeup, and I was trying to get into character. And this was all the test. This was all like putting the feelers at how does it feel to dress with a bit of metal on a t-shirt. Instead of being five guys on a stage wearing jeans and black t-shirts, we're trying to experiment with theatre. Because whenever we go and see shows that we really, really enjoy, there's more to it. It's not just about getting on stage and rocking out and getting people to say, jump the fuck up. It's very much about, we want to leave people jaw dropped and questioning what they've just watched and trying to make sense of it. We want to leave people thinking and going away thinking, I'm bringing 5 people with me the next time I see this band live. They're incredible. We've always had that mentality. We want to impress in the live world. So I think I'm not being boastful when I say this, and I'm sure the fans would agree, is that we tend to do a good job of replicating live what we do on record, or we definitely try to do that as well. And I think that's kind of worked in our favor. And like I say, in the live scenario now, we're traveling around Europe. The last European tour we did, we were playing in some really big rooms, and we noticed a massive jump between Sonder and War of Being, and it's really promising. And all of this has just helped to grow to the next level, and who knows where it's going to go from here, really? Because we've never been a flash in the pan band, we've never been put on a pedestal, we've never had the big hype. We've always been Tesseract. Oh, everyone kind of knows Tesseract in one way or another. We've never we haven't slipped into that kind of spirit box world. And over like all of a sudden you're booming and you've got like this modern sound, modern metalcore sound. We're Tesseract. Every album's different. Every album sonically is different. It's stylistically a little bit different. It's still Tesseract, but there's always, the way I try and describe it to people is what we want to do for the fans is create intrigue. So like every time a new album comes out, what have they done this time? Where's it going? What, so I think, and that makes it really exciting for us as well as creators. We're creating something exciting for the fans. We get to see all the nice reactions, and it's like the fans often love it. We don't get a lot of hate. We did when I left and returned, and obviously I had the Ash period, but that's kind of like gone. That was gone years and years ago now. So it's all, we feel very settled and creative, and we're all at that next stage. I'm 43 this year. And so you're kind of looking at the lifespan of the band and thinking, realistically, like how many more albums has the band got? Bands can go on forever. I mean, just look at Ozzy Osbourne and lots of other old legacy bands. But also bands crumble in the blink of an eye, and you just don't know what's going to happen. So even for bands that are established and have put a lot of effort into their business, can all still crumble at the drop of a hat. So you have to kind of take every show as it's your last show and enjoy it and think, I might not have this again. You've worked so hard for something. So that's another reason why perhaps we do well live, because we treat it that way. It's not like a go on tour, make some money, sell some merch, and then just get wrecked and wait to the next one. It's like, it's all calculated. It's all very much, we're looking after ourselves now, looking after our bodies, looking after each other, looking after the fans. Fan first. We're not trying to like get on playlists and just be heard. We want to be seen, and there's a difference between being heard and seen. You get lots of bands on DSPs that have got thousands upon thousands of monthly listeners, but they can't sell tickets at a live show. So we're definitely not that band. We're the opposite of that. I mean, if you look at our numbers on this from a streaming perspective, they're relatively low in comparison to other bands in our other peers. But we perhaps may do better in terms of live shows, and so that's exciting for us. That's where we want to live. That's where the stability of a band really is. It's with fans, the live arena. It's not just about creating 1.5 minute bangers and then trying to get pennies from DSPs. It's about the longevity of an act. Sorry, I'm really going off and waffling.
This is great.
I'm listening intently.
You're answering questions that I had, because after seeing you folks live, one of my takeaways was how incredibly fucking intense that live performance is from everyone in the band. How perfectly it's played, but the intensity and the emotive energy is massive. I'm like, how do you, after doing night after night on a tour, how do you maintain that kind of visceral energy per audience and give them everything you have? Like, how the fuck is that sustainable? But if you're treating it like, well, let's play this like it's our last show, you could get that sense, and in the audience, it stays with you for that reason. It absolutely translates. And it's just like, because I would think if you're doing a tour, it's a marathon. You want to be looking after yourselves, not overdoing things, making sure it's maintainable. But somehow you've found that balance in between. It's very fucking impressive.
Thank you. It has been a long, hard journey. Like I say, we have had times where, well, I've definitely had times where I've just been so confused about who I am. Anxiety, depression, all these things, all the lack of confidence has been a massive thing. And I'll be honest, up until War of Being, I'll be very honest, like all this way through the career of Tesseract, I've not really been comfortable in my own skin until now. And I think part of that is, diving into such a deep concept. When we write stuff, it's not just an idea, we live it. We really live it. We think we wax philosophical all the time. We're talking about humanity, the human condition. We talk about really deep stuff, especially at about 10 o'clock every day when we go for coffee stops. That's when it normally happens. But no, and I'm late at night as well. But we really mean it. We're really deep thinkers. And actually, it's funny because neurodivergent people are very, very deep thinkers, and they're very emotional. And each of us, I think, may very well be on the spectrum for one thing or another. And we will all openly admit that. And in fact, some of us know we are. So it's just very interesting. I'm surprised we've survived this long, if I'm being honest.
Well, I think the slower and steadier, the more stable it generally is. I think, there's a risk of the faster you rise, the faster you can kind of fall. So there must be some stability as part of that, perhaps. But
I really admire bands like Architects, if I'm being honest, because we actually used to. They were always kind of like a step above, well, 2 steps above where Tesseract were. We signed to Century Media. We were both signed on Century Media years and years ago, and we'd be playing, the what's the venue in London that all metal bands play at one point or another? Oh God, the Underground. I think it's changed name now, hasn't it?
No, the Underworld.
You in the Underworld? Sorry, yes, sorry. You interviewed James there last year.
James was in Brighton. I can't remember the name of the venue.
Oh, was it Brighton? Oh, right. Okay. Well, anyway,
we're touring with.
So I remember doing a gig supporting them basically, and just seeing them, and then being signed to the same label, seeing their work ethic, seeing what they've been through, seeing how they've elevated to that point, and the way that they run their business. I just think it's fantastic. I think they're a very good example. Of hard working dudes that producing music that they really enjoy, and seeing their rise is phenomenal, especially over the last couple of years. Like, I don't really, I've been being honest with you guys, I don't stay clued in to what's going on in the music world. I'm sick of music at the end of the day when I'm writing so much of my own stuff. Like, I just want to sit down and play games or develop my own game, obviously. And so sometimes I'm quite detached, and then every now and again I'll get wind of something or watch something on social media. I'm like, geez, those guys have shot up all of a sudden. And then I actually think about it. I think, well, actually, I've not seen them in about 4 years. So they've obviously come a long way. But yeah, it's where do you want to go, really?
Well, I guess on that topic with you, I guess, watching bands or all of a sudden just seeing them pop up out of nowhere, have you kept up to date with the Sleep Token rise? Has that been one that's shocked you or caught your eye at all?
Oh, that one, yeah, obviously. I mean, God, you were sleeping under a rock if you've not seen it. It's interesting. It's such an interesting phenomenon. It's so good for rock and metal, and credit to those guys. I mean, look what they've done for music in general. Fantastic rise to fame.
Yeah,
and it's interesting because I know some of the guys at Sleep Token. Obviously, I'm not dropping names or anything. And like just looking at the way that they've strategized ever since they started going, and seeing how that's paid off. This wasn't random. This was a deliberate game plan, and it's beautiful, executed to a T. And I just think, good on you, doing a good job there, guys. And it's inspiring for us. It's great for everybody. Some people hate it. I get it. I've seen all the hate. I've seen all the people Sleep Token this, Sleep Token that. At the end of the day, it's music. I mean, it's the way I view music. Music is music. It doesn't matter. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. Leave it. It doesn't matter if you think they don't. You can't put them you can't pigeonhole them. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. I think what we always say here is that it's got to be music first. Like, yes, they have what many people would consider to be gimmicky stuff with the masks and the bravado, but like musically, they obviously resonate with a lot of people. And even with like Tesseract, with you talking about the, I guess, the adoption of the face paint and the more theatrical approach, is that something that you've, I don't know, taken any particular inspiration? I know you mentioned the windows and stuff like that for maybe some of it, but I suppose like Tesseract, to me, when I look at you guys from the outside looking in, like you guys have been like one of the kind of like 3 or 4 horsemen of the like kind of gent world for years. But with the new album, it does feel like there was a very conscious shift into, like you mentioned, becoming more theatrical and having it more than just the music. The music is always fantastic with Tesseract, but it's now a world that you're trying to build around it. And I guess
it comes from the concept creation.
Right.
Like when I came back to Tesseract, when Polaris was released, that's just an album of songs. There's no concept to it. Just songs. Sonder had a loose concept. Altered State even had a concept that you probably wouldn't understand. One didn't really have a concept, and whenever there's an opportunity for a new album, I'm always like, concept. And this time we got it. I've managed to plant the seed, and we managed to create a concept, really interesting, deep philosophical concept. And on the back of that, loads of different opportunities came along. You know, we, for the first time in years, we went to a recording studio together and recorded everything. We were together. We were speaking about these things. Normally, it's just been Ackle and me in our bedrooms, fiddling and recording, file sharing, writing at home. That's literally been Tesseract's musical writing process for years and years. This album broke that cycle because we managed to save enough money and have enough in the kitty to actually go, you know what, we're going away, we're having a retreat, we're writing. And all of this, all these, when we're together, all these ideas were just floating around and growing and popping, and we're just like sitting down at the end of the night, really excited for the next day and think. So when we started to create the concept, I'd already written a lot of lyrics. So what we did when we were in the studio was we reshaped a lot of my lyrics to fit the concept that we were actively writing in the studio. So we'd have a big board behind me, and we'd have like posters of all the characters, and we actually developed the characters to the story in the studio. Shit. And we had pins coming off them, linking to each song, to each character, what lines mean, all this kind of stuff. And so I was constantly looking at that every day, thinking about the journey of what was happening. And that process of like developing characters and giving them traits and linking the story together, you start to live it. And then that slowly started to get under my skin. And like the idea of like ego playing a massive part of it all started to get under my skin as well. And I was like, I started to live it. And I think based on that lived experience and creation of that level of art, that, I don't mean to sound pretentious, but that did influence the confidence to become the characters live. I mean, if you think about the voice types that I use in that record, I started to use harsh vocals again. There were a little bit on Sonders, a little bit of shouting and screaming. That was the last album before this. And it's like, all of a sudden, we're coming out with really rich, deep vocals. It took me a year to develop to do that. But I did it because it was a character. It's the character Fear. So Fear is a character. And then we've got the innocent Grey. And so a lot of the floaty light vocals were related to him. And then there's all the different textures. They're all different voices speaking through the music. And so when I'm on stage, I'm primarily projecting a character called Fear, who's got the mask. You know, he's wearing red. He's dominating. He doesn't care. You know, he's completely dominating. And so I started to adopt this kind of like dominating attitude on stage, coupled with a floaty nature, you know, a more gentle nature. So I've got, you know, I have nice flow and free form movements going on, but then there's these harsh, aggressive moments, and it's just, I've never done that before, and it paid off, and it's made me excited to do more of this, and it's making me advance my vocals even further and try new things. Yeah.
You mentioned before we go too far, because you mentioned the Grey Dan, that was like, you know, we were talking before we started with myself and the two lads here. We check out all the new music. We're very clued into what's dropping and how bands are releasing things, and I guess that's what made Sleep Token stand out a little bit with their releases. But one thing that you guys did with the Grey, which was like the most unique way of like teasing or dropping music that I've still to this day ever seen, which was with the game, the War of Being, the game that you've got going. you released it was like 2023 now at this point, but I remember you had the beta of the game, right? And you allowed fans to play the beta and basically if you unlocked or finished the beta, you would unlock the Grey, which played at the end of it with the credits, which was like the most mind-blowing, like satisfying experience as a fan to like have to earn the song in a way, like really gamifying the actual feedback of that. And I guess, where did that idea even come from? And is that something you'd like to do in another album cycle with the maybe fully finished version of the game?
Yeah, that was something that I kind of threw on the table and then was like, I'm doing it. I've got this idea. I'm doing it. Well, because of the whole Twitch stuff has been amazing for me. The community that I've built has been incredible. The amount of interesting people that I've met as well through it has been fantastic. But one of them was a guy called Adam Boyd, and he was a programmer. And he could see that I really loved VR. So I was dabbling in lots of different VR titles and streaming it live as well. And he said to me, why don't we create a replica of your studio and use it in VR chat? Because I used to muck around in VR chat because it was hilarious. And so we actually took photogrammetry of my room. We built it in Unity. And at that point, I was about to go into the studio. And then we started to flesh around ideas about, because I was really excited about VR. I thought by now it would be way more popular than what it is. And it obviously isn't. And so there's a reason for that. And so we had to divert eventually into developing a desktop game. So it is a very long story, but to cut a long story short, I met someone that was a programmer. He helped me develop my own studio in VR. We started to go into the studio and create the concept for War of Being. And I was like, why don't we create a VR Tesseract club? So like VR chat, but host it ourselves and have our own servers and actually bring a community into VR and do interesting things like there's a Tesseract. We actually had this built. There was like this awesome club we built with a bowling alley and a bar and like a pool, and you could muck around together. And we had all this. And we had like a merchandise area, so you could like buy merch in VR and stuff.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
So that still might be a thing in the future.
Yeah.
But because the story was so engrossing. We then thought, I thought about when we build this VR metaverse, which is what it was going to be, Tesseract Metaverse, let's have a room dedicated to each character. And then, like in Mortal Kombat or whatever fighting game, you can actually go in and look at the character and spin them around and look at all the awesome models and stuff. I was like, let's do that for each character, but in a room. And then you can listen to the song while you're looking at the character. And then that idea turned into let's just make a game. And I was like, what? And so we literally, there were three of us, myself, Kirsty, who's a graphic designer and artist. We learned from the ground upwards, Unreal Engine, how to build simple maps, how to build levels, and how to use light, every aspect of gaming.
Yeah.
And my God, it has been mind blowing. We're still doing it now. We're still doing it today. There hasn't been a day in the last, been very few days in the last over 3 years where we haven't been in Discord learning, developing, making contacts. And it's just been beautiful to see how it's grown into its own indie game studio now, which is amazing. So DM Tesseract Limited is the game studio. We're already thinking about other titles to do after War of Being. But basically, War of Being, the early access, which had the Grey in it, was a very rushed job because we realized that we had dates to release music. We were like, oh crap, we've got to release a game. So that became a VR experience where the first single got released and you could go check it out. But so the early access game, I'll be very honest with you, it is on Steam now and it's still in early access, if you will. It is a walking simulator, basically. What we're doing now is night and day. Completely different. It's a fully formed, beautiful. If you guys are gamers, it's a first person RPG, come shooter, come psycho horror game, and it's just amazing. We've got models and animations and worlds that have been built, and it's all ties into the concept of War of Being, and it's just amazing. I'm so excited to get to it. We've given ourselves a 12-month deadline, so by the end of this year, we'd like to be in a position where we can reach to publishers and get it released on cross-platform and really give it a big push.
Do you sleep, Dan? How are you doing all of this?
I've got ADHD. What can I say?
Okay,
So,
Yeah. Do you ever like?
Go on, Burb. Come on.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to talk about the combat is quite. I saw the combat, but I find one of the most interesting things about the game development was actually the narrative. It seems like the narrative is like almost the focal point with you, and also with like a lot of your lyrics seem very introspective. And I remember reading like an article back in the day that you even like were using your dreams as inspiration for your lyrics. So when it comes to the game, how is it like different writing a narrative versus like lyrics for music like Tesseract or your solo stuff?
Oh, it's completely different. Oh my God. Well, if you were to speak to Amos and ask him to explain his version of War of Being, you'd find it's way more complex than what the story that I've developed. See, he was actually going to write a novella for the concept as well, because he's heavily involved in creating that concept as well as myself, but obviously he kind of birthed a lot of the initial ideas for it. What I've done is I've taken it and I've shaped it to be digestible in a gaming audience. So I've kind of rewrote it and restructured it, but a lot of the themes and the characters are all intertwined and all interlinked, and it's got a starting point, a beautiful end point, and actually making that a thing, but primarily by yourself. I mean, a lot of the environments I've learned to build environments. Basically, I've learned to deal with lighting. I'm creating my own soundtrack for it. I am writing all the dialogue and the narrative and the story and the objectives and everything. And Adam's coding it, and we're breaking the code daily and developing new mechanics and blueprints. And then, you're realizing that you can't export the game because it's bugs, and you're debugging. And then Kirsty's working on models and artwork and concept stuff. And it's just like, it's been a never ending, incredible learning curve, but I'm so proud of where we are with it. I had a dream when I was 8 years old. And it's when I used to listen to like 80s music, and I did a video about this recently, but I used to play Streets of Rage when I was about 8 years old on like the Master System and Mega Drive, and I used to be in love with games. I used to love it, and I had a dream that one day I want to write music and make my own game. And I made it a thing. Yeah. And so it's like, it's come full circle, and it's just like, I wouldn't turn down this opportunity if it came by again, and I didn't know what I was doing. I've literally learned that from the ground up. And it's like you get to a point where you're so deep, you're so far in it, there is no way we're not going to finish it, and there's no way we're not going to use all that code that we've built and not do something else on the back of it and do a different game, whatever, because that would be such a waste of 4 years. I don't like to waste things, skills, ideas, whatever. But and also it's been amazing. Saying, oh yeah, clearly enjoy it. I used to enjoy graphics at school. And I'm a massive gamer. I love gaming. Always have done. Found it to be massively helpful for escapism and just calming myself, which is probably one of the reasons why I love gaming so much, because it enables me to hyper focus. And storytelling in games is unbelievable. Sound design in games has been a massive influence for me over the years. I'm a massive Silent Hill fan, and then when the remake came out recently, I was like, oh, you don't understand what you're doing to me. This is incredible. So yeah, it's like, but it is really hard, because like how far it's come, like the technology, even in the last couple of years, like what AAA studios are now producing in terms of like, models for humans and the lighting and the environments are so. I was playing Dead Island 2 earlier. I'm not sure whether you've seen that or played it, but it came out 2 years ago, and I can't believe the graphics in that. The design, the level designs are so damn good. And I'm like, our game isn't going to be anything like that because we are DIY.
Doesn't have to be.
But it doesn't. You're right. It's the story and the idea. Yeah. Have you ever played Subnautica?
Oh, that game's sweet.
I've seen it.
I'm a huge gamer. The fact that you just mentioned Silent Hill, like I can talk for hours about Silent Hill 2. And I just saw the movie recently, which was garbage, but I'm a huge gamer, Daniel.
Well, we should chat gaming.
Totally. I know there's so much stuff to cover. I'd love to know the understanding of your gaming. To me, it almost seems like a clear obscure kind of story. If it can get to that level of success, which would be insane. But
that's
those
a
guys,
fucking high level. Bro.
I know. It's just those guys.
You know what? It's
from the ground up.
It's been quietly bubbling. The people that have reached out to me that are Tesseract fans in the gaming industry are mental. So the original VR developer who created VR for Valve. So you've got Valve who are in Seattle, right? That's where the headquarters are. Just casually reached out to me. Oh, hey, down here, you're doing a game. Massive Tesseract fans. You come down to the Valve and check out the offices and see what we're up to.
Wow.
Sick.
That's awesome.
Wicked.
Yeah.
So great relationships there. It's amazing. And then also Charlie Cleveland, who is the director for Subnautica, reached out randomly.
Wow.
He's the game director, and he was like, massive fan, Dan, I would love to work with you and help you out. And so we had a 2-hour chat a few months ago talking about what we're doing, giving me pointers on I'd probably get rid of this aspect and this aspect, and trying to coach me actually from a game directing perspective. And these, I mean, wow.
That's
all from an idea of doing a game. It's amazing.
Yeah. Have you, by any chance, I know you're going to be familiar with it, but Phasmophobia, Dan?
Yeah.
Yeah. You play the game?
Yeah, that was one of the games I used to play. Yeah.
Yeah, because do you know CJ? One of the I
was speaking to him as well.
He's another guy, man. Yeah, because I was streaming that game once, and he joined. This is the weird, even just you mentioned about Valve, the gaming and metal, heavy music world. There's just so much crossover there. Everyone loving different things. So I remember I was just streaming it one day. And obviously it's a massive game, and I think he was in one of my chats. I think it was a YouTuber chat or something like that. And CJ just joins, and he was like, "Hey man, I'm I don't know his exact title in the game, but he's one of the guys when it comes to developing Phasmophobia. I think he's the lead art designer or something like that. Sorry, CJ, if you're watching this, but he just joined. And he was like, "Yeah, I'm a big part of actually creating this game. I'm this. He's I've been watching your channel for years." So yeah, it's just funny you mentioned the Valve thing. It's just so much crossover.
CJ was awesome because he was the first person that approached me from the gaming world and was actually willing to help another project and actually show willing and be open, because the gaming world is quite closed off. It's even more closed off than the music industry, and it's also brutal in terms of fan critique. So it's oh my God,
toxic. Yeah,
but no, he was awesome for sure.
Yeah, CJ's great. Yeah, he ended up, I think I was struggling with the game, to figure out what to do. So he just joined the lobby with me and just walked me through it. I was like, the guy who's created this game is just giving me a little tutorial live on stream, which was so cool. Fun. So yeah, no, there's been a few moments like that have been sick.
Dan, what is some of your favorite games?
Sorry, pardon me.
It's okay.
Bit of a throat burp going on there. Too much cream soda. I'm actually teetotal as of the beginning of this year. And it's just the longest I've ever been since I was 18 without any alcohol.
Wow. Well,
my liver
cheers to that.
My liver has taken a hammering. Yeah. So I'm on a bit of I'm on a fitness kick at the minute, so I'm on cream soda. So that's why you can hear my throat burp because of all the bubbles. Anyway.
Okay.
So favorite games. I'm a massive Resident Evil fan. Silent Hill, one of my all-time favorite games. Doom, obviously. I've got a little bit of a flex on that. If you play Doom 2016 in arcade mode, I'm in the top 30 high scores in the world for that level because I played it way too
for a
much.
specific level though.
Yeah, go check it. What? Yeah, I love loads of games, man. I mean, flipping out. I've been playing games since I was.
It seems like horror is something that you gravitate towards. You did Dead Space playthrough too. Does that come
weirdly,
through?
I never finished that.
Does that come through in the music of Tesseract? Because when I listen to Tesseract personally, I get the atmosphere, but I don't really get that horror creepy vibe. But is that something that you want to try in the game?
I wouldn't say that gaming has necessarily influenced the music because I'm not really the music writer.
True.
From an atmosphere perspective, in atmospheres that I sometimes create with the vocals, then yes. And also in my own music as well, I would say that I do take influence from that kind of stuff. But I think it's more just the overall experience that carries through. Those kind of emotions you feel from an impactful story and the nostalgia as well. And it isn't always the music, but I mean, if you if you're playing a game like Doom, obviously no more Mick Gordon now, but obviously when that was a thing, it was like, oh my god, this is the best crossover I've ever seen in my life. The music and the gaming, it couldn't be better. So
Doom VR was amazing. If you ever played that, listening to Mick Gordon's
the
soundtrack
opening
and
to Doom Eternal, oh my god, I had shivers the first when Doom Eternal came out and the intro comes in. I was like,
yeah,
they're bad.
Have you ever had any contact with Mick?
Not directly.
Right.
I know that obviously I was speaking to John Brown a year ago, and he helped mix and do some stuff with those guys. But not directly. I know we're aware of each other, but we've just never crossed paths.
Okay. Cool. Is there, because I know the War of Being theme is so heavily tied into the game now. Is there ever any moment, like from a musical standpoint, that I know you're not going to say you would ever regret tying it so deeply into the music, because you seem to have found such a like new passion that you've just followed so closely, but obviously with the theme being tied into the game and then back to Tesseract, do you feel like you have to get the game completely tied off before you can move on to the next chapter of Tesseract, or do you feel like they're both just part and parcel of each other?
I think it's always going to be a Tesseract product that's celebrated. I believe that's what it will become, because there are not many bands that have managed to do it. There are bands that have got their own game or they're featured in a game, but this is a full concept game based on the album and the music with adaptations of that album within the game as well. So it's intrinsically linked in all ways. I completely forgot what you just said, but basically, yes.
yeah. I guess like really summarized. Is it something that you see like a finishing point with the game where all of a sudden the band switches and goes, okay, new concept now? Or is this like a thing going forward that you see with the next album?
Yeah, sorry, I get it now. So no, it won't stop us from moving on.
Okay.
Even if by the end of this year we suddenly go, we need another year, we'll take another year. We don't want to, because financially we're just living on breadcrumbs. Yeah. But it won't stop Tesseract from moving on. It's always going to exist. It's always going to be there. Yeah.
I guess it gives you more freedom with the possibilities. I guess you said that you'll be going independent, I guess, in the near future. I guess so you'll have that little bit of freedom to not be tied to like particular dates, I guess, with album releases.
I mean, that's all up in there at the minute, but
right.
I can't ever see it's going to impact us, to be honest.
Sure.
No one's going to mind revisiting a previous album after the fact later on anyway, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I can't help but I have to bring it up. Like, I know the video for Legion, was that inspired particularly by, obviously it being in the actual shot itself reminded me of Dead Space. I don't know if it was directly staying on games and stuff like that, but yeah,
it wasn't. It was actually based a lot on Space Odyssey and Alien.
Oh, sick. Okay, and that's just one facet of it, because the actual vocal performance of that is still one of the most insane things I've heard in like modern metal music. Just mind blowing.
I listened to it at the gym, weirdly enough.
I mean, it's intense.
Something about a crazy vocal performance helps with those lifts.
It'll increase the heart rate some. Yeah.
It's an interesting one.
Like 2/3 of the way through that song, it really fucking amps up, and the vocal performance is wild. I mean, my immediate reference, like Matt Bellamy from Muse, is that kind of vocal acrobatics. When you had put that down, that performance, were you thinking, oh yeah, people are going to be very impressed, they're going to really enjoy this? You're kind of going like, I don't know what people will think, what they think, who knows?
The funny thing with that one is that we went in the studio with half an idea, which was the first half of that song. Oh. So the whole second half was written in the studio, and I actually worked alongside Kat Marsh, who is, she was engineering and kind of like co-producing the vocals alongside me. And she's in Quai Noir, if you know Quai Noir.
Ah, yes.
She's the leader of that gang. And so she wrote a lot, the majority of the second half of that. She kind of like came to me and presented it. And I was like, initially I was like, it needs to change here and there. There was a few little tweaks. I was like, I need to kind of like make that my own. And in the process of that, I did actually push the boundaries of what I would normally do. So if it wasn't for her, that wouldn't be a thing, which is amazing. So that's a great sign of a good vocal producer. is like helping you to push the boundaries and, thematically keep things tied in and offer you that different perspective. And so there was a day where I hadn't really even learnt the part extensively. It was like, I think she showed it to me like the evening before, and then the next day we're like, oh, we'll have a go at recording that, and I'll like sing it in sections or whatever. I sang it through twice, and the second time we were in tears. We're like, keep done.
Yeah, can't recreate that.
It was unbelievable. We're actually, interesting story with this is that I've always self-produced my vocals, and so the idea going into the studio was that I would relinquish all of that responsibility, give it to somebody else, and go and stand in a corner and get vibing in front of a mic and give it the big one. But I knew that I would be the one that edited those vocals. So I edited all the vocals for that album. And so while we were tracking it, I have a very particular process for tracking vocals. And I could foresee that I needed these to be recorded in a certain way, because I would be the one that's editing them, and I want to save myself time and have a process. So slowly, I kind of crept closer to the desk where she was. And I eventually was sat next to her, like watching what she was doing and kind of like directing things while I'm singing, because it's such a hard thing to let go of when you know what you're looking for, when you've got it. So Peter Miles, the producer, heard the first line that we recorded, and me and Kat were like, this is brilliant. Let's show Pete, because he was the guy that was overseeing the production. He came into the room and he was like, oh yeah, it's good. It's good. What I think you should do is go for a walk, go and stand on a hill and just sing it and learn it. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, cool. And so he left. I'm like, Kat, sit down. We're getting it now. And so this was the second take. I was like, hit record. And I would just vibed out, and I recorded it all sat down. I wasn't even stood up. So I sat down, just like spanking it out, getting all those variations in, and stretching the voice and different voice types. And it really meant something. And I really, really felt it. And I had my eyes closed the whole time, and I was like, took my headphones off, and I turned over, and Kat's just crying. So streaming. She's like, I can't believe what you've just done. I was like, amazing. And that's when we realized that would probably be a moment on the album.
I've got fucking chills when you're saying that, man. Yeah, that moment is.
What was it about his suggestion that made you go, I've got it? Did you do that in your mind? I've been on the hill. That this moment in my mind, I'm ready to go.
And one, I knew we didn't have the time to do that, and two, I didn't need it.
You're like, I'm not waiting for anything.
Because that's how I operate back in the studio, in my own space. Is like I have a process for getting in the zone, getting the takes, and when I get something that I know is tight and it's impressive, if I can impress myself, then I know it's going to be a keeper. Because I've got such high standards that if I would not impress myself, then it's not going to stay. And I impressed myself, so it stayed.
Yeah.
But also, I don't like to be defeated, and I don't like to be told what to do.
Right, okay. That's a recipe for good music, Dan.
I'm a lot more relaxed about it. I'll be very honest with you, as it was hard bringing other people into the equation, writing, because I've had so much control over it over the years that I'm very much like, I know what I'm doing, leave me alone.
Yeah.
Don't need your influence. But actually, I've mellowed a little bit, and because we wanted to mix up the process, I was like, come, sit, tell me, work. Let's do something different. And I'm pleased I did, because I've matured over the years, and I was happy to let that control go a little bit, and it paid off. So
we wouldn't have that moment clearly without that.
Exactly.
So that's an amazing anchor for that in the future, perhaps.
Wow. This seems like a whole different Dan than the Dan that I met back in 2011. We actually met each other because you opened for Protest the Hero.
Oh God, really?
Yeah.
What show was that?
It was in the town called Oshawa, but I don't know if it was just like the
years.
one EP. Yeah, a long time ago. I loved you guys for a long time. Yeah.
Wow.
And I even Fell Silent. I was into Fell Silent before, too. So, but this whole I've been also kind of following your journey into your mental health and stuff, and just being very understanding yourself. I find it very interesting because on a personal note, I'm battling if I have ADHD or something, it's something I should probably look into. So I appreciate you actually opening it up and making videos about it and all that.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. It's firstly, I can't believe you came to that show. That was 2011. I was actually thinking of Rody today because I'm working with a PT who actually recently helped Rody to get in shape. I'm not sure whether you've seen him recently, but Rody is looking absolutely buff.
Yeah. I've been watching his vlogs. They've been hilarious.
Right. Oh God, he's such a funny guy. Oh my God. Stand-up comedian, come rock god, amazing guy.
Yeah.
Are they funny on stage?
Yeah,
he's funny.
It's a comedy show too. Yeah,
good. I think I'm seeing them this year for the first time. I've heard a couple of. No, I think I've heard one song with them, and I haven't yet found it to be digestible. But perhaps live it'll translate. They're playing Radar Festival.
I had one of the worst memories ever on that tour.
Oh,
I've got to tell you about it because it's so funny. So it was the time when I discovered vanilla latte. I was never into coffee, and how old would I be? 26. Isn't that a weird age to not know what coffee is? I lived a very sheltered life.
I still am not into it. I'm 39.
Well, obviously we're hitting all the Starbucks. Very, very bad diet on tour. And I ended up getting ill, obviously. And there was one show on that tour and no one really knew who we were. And we were really getting into it. And we were singing part 3, I think it was. And there's just one moment where everyone's just still, not moving. There's no light in production, so everything is just like the light's just blinding you, just like to someone turn on the living room light and Tesseract's playing. And all of a sudden, I go to scream, right? And I'm like, ah! And this most gigantic globule of phlegm popped. It popped from my throat and just went ping. And I swear to God, time stood still. And every head in the crowd saw it and did this. And it went splat right on this guy's chest in like row 5, and everyone steps back from him looking at it. And I'm just like,
step back.
Shit. And after it finished, I leant over and I was like, dude, come here, man. I'm like, I wiped it for him, and it smeared all down the front of his shirt. And he's like, what? He's like, what the fuck? I'm like, I'm so sorry. I'm not very well. And he's like, what the fuck? I'm like, I can't dig this hole any deeper. So anyway, I ran to the merch stand mid-show, grabbed a t-shirt. I'm like, change, keep it.
Wow,
Great save.
Too.
Great save.
And your brain went,
the worst
let's make this a core
ever.
memory. I'll remember every detail forever.
Yeah, you don't forget those things.
Yeah, you don't forget that.
That's hilarious.
Shocking.
Wow.
I wonder if that guy remembers. I wonder what he's doing these days.
Right now.
He's probably
That
still
was the
trying to
2011
recover.
tour then with protests. It was that one.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Imagine it was you, but you just didn't remember it.
No, I have photos. I'll send you a photo. I have one.
Oh, please!
I think he had a little goatee or something.
Oh, Jesus.
Sick.
Oh god.
Well, yeah. I was gonna ask you, Dan. With the Legion performance, do you like? Obviously, you mentioned that you've kind of unlocked a new level to your vocals, even from just listening to the albums. Like, I'd never heard anything from you like that in the past. The very like operatic falsetto vocals, just going and progressively getting more insane. Do you feel like pressuring yourself now? Like, how do you take it up a notch from here? Because I know you're competitive with yourself and you want to keep improving. How do you go any more insane than that?
Yeah. We've just done the demo, actually, a new Tesseract song, and I've done something that I've never done on it before. And all the guys were like,
tease.
we're going
good
core.
Yeah.
Shit. So I'm expecting my extreme vocals have come on quite a lot, based on what we've been, in continuing down that path. It has richened, to be honest with you. So there might be a few more moments where it's quite deep. But the great thing is about building a foundation for singing upwards. So if you can learn to sing and you actually spend time developing your head voice, a lot of people don't understand that if you have a strong head voice, it strengthens the whole of your voice, which is why a lot of singers neglect it, especially guys, because they just think it's this weird, weak part of the voice that has no use. But actually the muscles that you use for head voice, if you can strengthen them, your whole voice just suddenly pops and you've got so much diversity. And so I've been training for a long time, so I've got that diversity. And I had to build that diversity and to go up there and have control, freedom and control. But but what I've started to do is experiment with the lower spectrum now, so I can do all of that, which is the dream. It's what I've always wanted to do. When I first started during 2009, 2011, the screaming was terrible. It was killing me. And so when I left, I retrained, which is why when I came back with Polaris, it's clean singing. And then you can I kind of slowly see the progression of the stabilization of my skill set getting, stronger album to album. Man, I wish I could do that stuff on that first album. Crazy. Just takes a long time to learn for some people. I'm one of those people. It just took me ages.
Yeah. Wow. So I'm expecting like pig squeals, deathcore breakdowns in Tesseract's new music based on what you just said.
Pig squeals. I can't stand pig squeals.
Yeah, no, I'm not a big fan. But I kind of want to hear it in Tesseract's music.
They're comical.
No.
Yeah. And the Tesseract song too.
Yeah.
Fucking Poppy busted out a brie at the end of her album. Finally heard that thing. Jesus Christ. I couldn't help but giggle.
I don't think I've ever listened to much Poppy.
She's got a diverse discography.
Bad.
Good choice.
Yeah.
I grew up on new metal, so I love the nostalgic vibe. So that's where I still kind of firmly live. Guilty pleasure. I'm a massive Tool fan. I love A Perfect Circle. They're one of my favorite bands. Deftones will always be a love affair. Yeah. I've been listening to a lot of early 2000s metal again this last month, actually. Just every now and again I just keep going back.
It's coming back in a big way. I mean, for the last 3-4 years, the Deftones sound, which was a unique, iconic sound from fucking decades ago, has become the sound that new bands are trying to incorporate and emulate. And interestingly, the last year or so, there's bands coming out that sound like Limp Bizkit, like very, very much so. Like that specific early 2000s, like new metal, is now in fashion, and it's blowing my fucking mind.
It's always tried, hasn't it? I think ever since it's always been an effort to bring it back, and it's always kind of like died. I think it was such an amazing time for music, though.
Yeah,
Korn. I don't think just because of the nostalgia. I just feel like there's been nothing like it since. I know you've had like the gent movement, and you've got kind of like this now modern metal sound, but like when exactly Korn. Band like Korn coming out and doing what they did, and all that kind of excitement of like System of a Down and all that stuff, all that new metal.
Linkin Park as well at the same time, like massive worldwide radio play of what is essentially aggressive, angry music. It's like, well, it's undeniably good, so people like it. And I think we're seeing a bit of that with the likes of Sleep Token. It's undeniably good, and so a large number of people are enjoying it, and we're going to get a bit of research, but in a much more genre fluid.
It's very rare.
Time.
Very rare. In the oversaturated world we live in, it's very rare, isn't it? I mean, you think about when the early 2000s, I think it was it just around about the time where LimeWire was a thing. So like pirating started to become an issue, and like the record industry hadn't even considered that at the time. So actually like record deals were still a thing, and like radio and television, like MTV2, Scuzz TV, that was still a thing. So I feel like the new metal era of music still benefited from the old model of record industry, which is why it was so big. Perhaps maybe that helped, and there hasn't been anything like that since, obviously, because the whole landscape's changed. So it's actually fascinating that a band like Sleep Token has managed to do what they do in this climate.
Yeah, and do it with like 9-minute long songs from their earlier catalog. It's like fucking how has that broken the way it has? It's incredible. So there's hope yet for people to enjoy an 11-minute long war of being en masse, and we're going to take over the world with the next album. That's all that's going to happen.
I was just going to say it was a different era back then too, like the 2000s with like the new metal movement. Like I call it the Attitude Era. It's a wrestling reference. It was just like it's true though, like the Jerry Springers and stuff. It was just like it was so like punk rock. Punk was making a huge comeback too during that time. And like
did
that's
you ever
what
have
I mean.
The
like
bell-bottom jeans.
No,
the
I
big
made fun of those
ones.
people, but I had the skinny jeans, so I wasn't cool. I had the really skinny jeans. But and then the chain wallet too.
Oh god, I've got a classic photo of me. I'm wearing these massive, big, baggy jeans with a Marilyn Manson t-shirt on and an unreasonably large dog chain that I didn't even have a dog.
Can you send it to us so we can use it?
No,
in the thumbnail?
Absolutely not.
That's staying in the vault. That one, for sure. No. But it's funny though, isn't it? When you look back, I just love that time. Speaking of do you mind if I just mention the new solo record I've got coming out? Talk about that.
Sure. Please, yeah.
It does link into the neurodivergent self. So I signed to K-Scope as a solo artist. Tesseract signed to them how many years ago now? Is it 15 years ago, something like that? I can't remember. With Polaris, when did Polaris?
I can't verify. I'm sorry.
2014. Yeah, it was about 10 years ago. Anyway, I signed to them with White Moth Black Butterfly, which was my first solo project, which was like contemporary pop stuff. And then on the back of that, I actually signed as a solo artist and released like a electronic pop album called Castles. Didn't really go down very well because it was so drastically different to what the core audience knows me for. And so what I did is I teamed up with Paul Ortiz from Chimp Spanner, he's also one of the founders of the gent movement, believe it or not. He was in that zone at the time, and he's a good friend of mine. So he reworked that album called Castles into Ruins. So that's one of my solo albums, Ruins. So it's like a proggy rock type album. So we've actually had songs, a body of work, which I was going to release under Daniel Tompkins for about 8 years. We've slowly been working away at it, and the label have allowed me to change artist name halfway through a contract. So I'm no longer releasing music as Daniel Tompkins now. It's The Prince of Failure. So that's going to be the new album that comes out next year. And it's all based around my experience of neurodivergence. And I've given that part of me a name. I've named it so I can take back power.
It's a cool fucking name, by the way.
Yeah, it's got great visuals and story to it, and all the songs they've got really impactful stories to them, and it's a way of me kind of like exercising that demon once and for all and giving birth to it. It's like a darker shadow self that can exist in its own entity rather than living inside my head. So I've kind of birthed it.
Wow.
So I'm excited for that to come because it's some of the songs I think you will really like them actually.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's check that out.
I'd love to send it to you guys as well ahead of time so you can enjoy it.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Always welcome.
Absolutely. That'd be sick. And is it like you're specifically saying that we should love
You're gonna like
songs?
it. You're gonna like it.
Okay.
There's definitely a variety of songs.
Okay.
Myself and Paul started writing it based on things that we really loved from the early 2000s. So it's got a little bit of the early 2000s in it. I'm not trying to say it's going to be new metal. It's not. But then as more recently, we've written some new songs. And I was doing this on stream as well. And they are a little bit industrial goth.
Nice.
Okay.
But some of them are actually but some of them are also kind of like really modern, kind of like argent metal-ish, if you like. So a little bit Mick Gordon-ish in places, you know. So it's a really interesting album. It's actually, Earth Tone 9?
I know the name. Can't think of what they sound like now.
I encourage you to go listen to them. Right, so they've just released a new album a year ago. They went on a long hiatus. They came out in the early 2000s. They're from the UK. They're one of the most unsung, best British metal bands that people just don't know about. They released a new album a couple of years ago, and I was a massive fan of these guys when I was about 18, 19. Huge. I used to go to Rock City in Nottingham to watch them. Anyway, they released a stunner. It's called In Resonance Nexus. The album is amazing. And when I listened to the vocal production, I was like, geez, in fact, James told me about them from Tesseract. And I was like, I didn't even know that we were just talking about them in the back of the van on the way back from the show. And he was like, I'm doing the PR for those guys. They've just put out a new album. I'm like, no way. Anyway, so long story short, I reached out to them and I was like, can I have Carl's email? He's the front man. And I started to have a chat. It turns out he's a massive Tesseract fan. Wow. So he's like, oh, Polaris is one of my favorite albums. I love you guys. I was like, can I do a guest feature? He was like, yes, do a guest feature. Wow. And so that's kind of happened. And, you know, that's going to be happening soon as well. I can mention that. That's no biggie. But the reason I say this is because the producer, the vocal mix and producer is a guy called Lewis Johns. And he's done loads of records that you might have listened to. It did the most recent, it's done a few Rolo Tomasi albums actually as well and some other stuff. Go check him out. Anyway, I loved what he did on the album and I got him to mix vocals and the music on Prince of Failure. So there's a little bit of a connection to Earth Tone 9 and a little backstory to that as well. And it's probably the best sounding, I don't want to rub it into Tesseract. Probably one of the best sounding vocal mixes I've ever had.
Sick. Wow. Okay. What's the name of the project? I know the project itself is The Prince of Failure, but have you got like an album name? Or will it be an EP?
It's self-titled.
Self-titled. Okay, gotcha. Yeah. Sounds
is there a
interesting.
Timeline for this?
Sorry?
Is there a timeline for it at this stage?
Yeah. You're actually going to see your first single come out in March.
Oh, nice. Soon.
Cool.
Okay.
Keep our eyes peeled for that.
Yeah, exciting times for that one.
Yeah. Okay, so Tesseract's going deathcore, and then a new Dan project coming on. Sick.
And a video game at some stage as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
you guys listen to so much music. I don't know how you do it.
I actually think we don't really, though. I think this is a misconception as well. And our Spotify numbers at the end of the year generally kind of reflect that, because we do so much editing of the music that we listen to, that we listen to the music off Spotify quite a lot. And generally, I can probably speak for the two lads here as well, we like try to save our listens for on camera, so we can't just like go and binge a new album because we want to like get the first time, so we're not like just diving into albums maybe as much as other people. So yeah, we listen to maybe like a lot of individual songs, but like I don't have like crazy insane monthly or yearly stats on like the Spotify rap.
It's true, you know, your rap is embarrassing.
Yeah, it is. Like I had like 15,000, like something ridiculously low compared to some people who have like 50 to 100,000. So yeah,
I listen to more music now than I did before my channel, though. So like it's like what you were saying, Dan, about like when it comes to your own stuff. For me, like I listen to so much music that on my spare time I'm like listening to like classical and other stuff, because like I can't listen to metal all the time. Like I just get bored of it.
That's fair.
Yeah.
See, I'm like the a little wider. I'm not just metal, I'm rock as well. So I have some streams. There's a lot of pop punk and there's all sorts. So that helps a little bit.
Yeah. Nice.
But now I've just gone full time. This week is my first week being a full time content creator. My amount of music I'm listening to has gone up like fucking threefold because of that, which is great fun.
Yeah, you've done really well to make that a full time job.
Yeah, it's been 4.5 years or so, and yeah. It's taken a bit of effort, as you might imagine, but yeah, we're in a good spot. Fucking delighted. I'm having the best time, guys.
Yeah.
Are you really?
First week.
Yeah. I'm aware honeymoon period, all that stuff, but like it's
no, that's not how I meant. But like, congrats. This is the first week of doing it. But
yeah. It's official now. No going back now, sir.
Nope.
No going back. You're in.
I look forward to you guys checking out all the stuff that I'm doing.
Yeah,
this is it.
Always like to see
I've revealed I have all the time to do it.
I'm waiting for the time when you listen to one and go, that's fucking shit.
It might happen. You know, some of this is going to be taste. You know?
Do you ever do reviews and you're just like, nah.
Yeah.
Stop. Yep. I've never seen you guys do one of those. Like you need to,
because I don't post it.
Oh, you don't?
Like,
I've had maybe 10 songs that I bailed out on.
I don't know how you do it, because there's an element of being respectful to the artist. I tried to do a playlist myself on Twitch where people nominated songs and I had to listen to them live, and I'm just like, I'm breaking inside because it's the worst stuff I've ever heard in my life.
Oh yeah,
and I can't say that.
Yeah. There's ways to be polite,
you can
but
navigate
constructive.
I've learned to say it. No, this is dog water. 3 out of 10.
Then, what we discovered as well, people aren't looking for you to just say this is amazing. Like what they appreciate is honesty. Like the number of people I've been like, I have been sort of like this, have they're like, I can see what they're trying to. I'm not sure about this. And at the end, they're like, "Thanks, man. I really appreciate your honest thoughts about it." It's like, great, because that's just the music fan experience. It's the same thing you'd have with a sibling or a friend or whoever it is that likes music. Like, I fucking hate Limp Bizkit. Really, I think they're so good. You can have that conversation, and it's fine.
Yeah, it's definitely how you present yourself. One of the best pieces of advice I ever had was know your audience in personal conversations and otherwise.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, like, no one wants to sit there and just listen to someone say positive things about music for like 2-3 hours straight. Like, it has to just be, I mean, if that's the honest take where you are genuinely enjoying every minute of it, then that's fine. But if, more often than not, that's not going to be the case when you have music from all corners of the globe being thrown your way. You can't like everything. There's going to be all these different tastes. And if you have people submitting it, they all have their own individual tastes. You're not always going to reflect those. So, yeah, it's exhausting to lie as well, to even try and pretend that you're enjoying something when you're not. It's just so exhausting trying to do that on stream. It's just, and people can pick up on it. People in the audience are like, he's not enjoying this. This is inauthentic. Let's move on. So
the worst thing is about this playlist that I had is that I had to decide whether it went on the playlist or not. And like 9 times out of 10, I'm like, no,
crushing dreams.
No. Well, I can see what it's like you were saying, Steve. It's like, I can see what they're doing. I can see what they're going for. It just needs a little bit more time to develop. It's shit.
Just say it out.
I'm like, there's definitely an audience for this. I'm just not it.
It's just
I can understand why a lot of people would like this, but I don't.
Yeah, you do eventually get to the point where you've kind of exhausted all of your nice ways of saying things, and then you're just like, fuck yeah,
guys,
just get
stream
this off.
ended. I'm done. Just stop.
Yeah, for sure.
Because the other part is, if you were to ham it up and be like, oh, this is great, then that person's gonna be like, great, and they'll send you more of that thing you don't like. So like you are curating your own audience over time, as you said. Like, know your audience. Like, if you stick to the things if you're authentically saying what you think, then you will magnetically attract the music that you like, because people will then kind of connect with you on that level.
It's a bit like when I'm teaching, because I don't know whether you guys know that I teach singing, but it's you sometimes get some students and they are blinded by their own lack of ability. It's like they just don't get it, and I'm like,
Pop Idol.
And they're so overconfident, and you sometimes get students that they're absolutely terrible, but they think they know it all, and they've got an answer to every question, and you're like, why are you even here? Like, why are you actually asking me anything? Because anything I say to you is seemingly wrong, and I'm the coach. It's like, but sometimes you do have to be brutally honest and say, you know what, I think you need to go back to the basics here and really take a step back, because you're not. I get some students that are like, so I've been practicing Legion.
Jesus.
And I'm like, it took me 15 years to learn to sing like that, and you want to do it in a week? But no, there are ways. There are ways. Don't get me wrong, but I think a lot of people want those quick fixes these days. They just want like a life hack. There's no life hacks for singing.
No.
Or anything, or any profession.
Really.
I mean, people want that hack all the time. It's a shame, really, isn't it? It's like I think we are losing the art of time and effort in a craft. You think about all the AI as well now. My God, how is that changed? What are my kids growing up into? Oh my goodness me!
Yeah, it's crazy.
The unknown.
Yeah. Not that I want to take on a tangent and moan about AI, but it is a fascinating topic because it is very helpful. I'll be honest, I do use ChatGPT because it helps me formulate my own thoughts. It's fantastic for that. But what is it taking away from people that don't yet know their craft?
True.
Yep.
We'll find out in a few years, maybe. Early stages of seeing what happens. I wonder if it's going to be the next version of no one remembers phone numbers anymore. Because we don't have to, because we just put it in our phones. So like, what is the next thing that our brains would be like, oh, we don't need to do this anymore because AI fills that gap?
Yeah.
Who's the youngest out you guys?
True.
How old are you?
29 as of yesterday. So I'm
Do you
pushing.
remember, so you perhaps don't remember the yellow pages?
Oh yeah, no, I remember.
Oh, you do. So you do remember.
Yeah.
So
he's young, but he's also in Ireland. It's an old school.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we're still using the yellow pages here, Dan.
See you in a second.
No, we are quite a unique generation, aren't we? Going from no internet to internet.
No internet through to fucking internet on steroids. Yeah, it's wild.
It's crazy.
Yeah, for sure. It's like we've kind of experienced the beginning and then the tail end of I guess our parents' generation that way. Like my parents are completely, it's worrying. Like I use this example a couple of times, like simple things that are just so, I don't know what the word is. It's like, for example, at Christmas, I was at my parents' house and my dad had like a lovely TV presentation on of like some snow falling and some snowmen. And me being in this chronically online worlds of the internet, it's the most AI thing I've ever seen. Like it's like AI snowmen and it's like they're all morphing and stuff. And I'm like, all right, me and my dad will get into a big thing here. Like, because me and my dad, anytime we get an opportunity, just back and forth, too stubborn, like not agreeing on anything. I was like, can we move something real, please? Just because this is throwing me off at Christmas. It just looks so weird. Like the snowman's carrot nose morphing into something else and everything. He's like trying to actually explain this to the previous generation, which is insane to even say just one generation removed, can't see why it looks AI. They're like, well, how do you know it's AI? I'm like, oh, it's just like the gap sometimes. I think the gap has widened so quickly at such an alarming rate. It's scary. It's terrifying how quickly that has just moved. Because I know the internet, like, oh, how do you turn on the screen is like a little bit different. It's a practical application, but this is like, I don't even know where to start with explaining how that is AI art and not someone who's made that. It's like you can't
believe anything now.
Yeah.
No,
which
the
is super
scams
scary.
are going to just destroy.
Yeah.
Especially from like, we are not getting into politics. I hate politics, but man, think how dangerous that is. My God.
For anything, like the burden of proof will just not really exist. Like, how are you going to prove that you're fucking real? Like, and that the video was real? It's like, I saw you rob this bank. No, you didn't. That's fucking AI. I didn't do it.
Yeah,
exactly.
Having robbed the bank. Like, what are we going to do?
Wasn't me.
Yeah. Write that down.
It's getting harder to tell too. Like I had an incident where like, people are just claiming things are AI when they're actually real too, because it's getting harder to distinguish. So there's this woman who covered Spirit Box, and it was actually on Steve's Discord server where people were like, oh, she's AI. And I'm like, no way. I covered an AI artist without knowing she was AI. So I actually had to message the person like, that sounds really weird, but are you AI?
I didn't think she was AI.
I worded it a lot better, but she's just like, no, I'm not. And the fact that people are thinking I'm AI is really disappointing.
Wow.
What would AI say to that question?
Could you send her like prove you're not a robot, click this box?
Yeah. Man, I never thought about that.
No, that was definitely not AI. That was
Have you guys checked out any AI music?
Yeah, we did an episode on this podcast where one of our viewers basically curated a video of some songs were AI and some songs were real, and we had to try and decipher which ones were AI. Steve, we did gamify it, and we did have a competition, and Steve did win. So Steve's got the best ear for AI out of the three of us. It was really fun. It was. Did
you find
hard.
It confusing? Were there some that you were like, oh, I just don't know?
Yeah, because like modern metal, like with this kind of pop influence and the like 8-string gent guitars and shit,
it's
like,
so polished anyway.
It's so polished that AI is having a very easy time seemingly of just creating most songs that sound like they're just from actual bands that exist. So there was a few instances that it was like a complete toss-up, 50-50 of whether or not something was real or not. And yeah, scary.
That's interesting.
The only way I could really get into it is there'd be moments you hear the impression of what would be guitars and synth and drums and things, but there's moments where audio wise it's sort of morphing into each other. It's like, that sounds guitarish, but I've never heard a guitar sound quite. It's half guitar, half piano doing that particular musical layer. I'm like, something's not right here. Yeah. And usually that meant it was some AI combination. You can't get the separation between the layers in the same way.
But the general listener?
They won't have a fucking clue. No, at best, the general listener in the vocals you can sometimes tell. There's like a half sing, half scream vocal thing, especially in the metalcore AI stuff. That's like they all sound a bit similar to each other, and you start noticing the sort of theme of it between AI songs. But that's about.
It's got to be suppressed. It's got to be restricted in some way because it's just gonna.
Yeah,
it is going to literally destroy the music industry.
Yeah, because ultimately, I don't know how many people.
Well, it isn't going to destroy it, but it's going to mess with it at the very least.
I guess there's an argument for it's potentially like you guys have been around for so many years that you've got that fail safe of like we know Tesseract is not an AI band. So I think in a way, the more we go down this route of AI, it actually will benefit bands that have had established careers so far. I think it's going to hurt a lot of the bands that are trying to make a name for themselves because they're just competing with so many different bullshit AI bands. But you guys, it might draw more people back into real bands. They know for an absolute certainty they've been doing it for years that are 100% real human beings. It may have that effect as well. But yeah, for new bands, that's
speaking of new bands. What are your guys? Because you guys go to live shows, you see lots of bands, right?
Well, Drew doesn't, but yeah.
Oh, you don't. He came to see Tesseract.
Yeah, he goes
to Process last night. I was at the most recent. Wait, were you at a gig last night, Steve? You were.
I was. Yeah.
I was going to say that I was the one who was most recently at a gig, so I have that.
Go on.
What are your guys' thoughts on 80% of what you're hearing being on backing track?
For me, it depends massively, and I'm still sort of trying to codify this for myself. And it's a similar thing as well with like live autotune. It's like, do I mind or do I not? Or autotune generally on tracks, and it sort of depends on what the band's trying to go for. For me, the intention matters. So if they want to create something that is highly polished and exact, that's part of the sound. Grant, make sure you can feed into the backing track so you have that polish, and then you add the humanity over the top with your vocals or with like doing the live bass lines, whatever it might be. That's grand. Where I struggle with it is if the presentation is all of this is live. We're just a bunch of fucking people with like guitars and drums, and we're doing this, and you're going, it. But actually 80% of that is backing track, and you know I can hear no difference when they're not playing the guitar to when they're joining in and strumming. It's like, what are we doing here? Or if they're using live autotune that's very subtle to kind of help them, it's like, well, if you've got a cold and you don't want to have a terrible gig and you don't have the vocal strength to carry that through, okay, maybe here and there. But then there's others who use it so strongly that it's like it's a constant sort of buzz of a non-human sound. It's like, well, that's maybe their choice. I don't know. It kind of depends. If I feel like they're trying to present themselves as something real and I can detect that it isn't, I'm like, Like I had a bit of that last night.
It's an interesting one. I kind of agree with you and I kind of disagree. Like there are people in my world, in my realm, people that are in the industry that are seeing lots of newer bands coming out recently that are swearing blind that everything is backing track, and that some newer bands are relying so heavily on it that it is incredibly artificial. And I just wonder if that's becoming a more popular thing, or if there's a reason for it. I've not seen it because I didn't go out, but when I hear these things, I'm like, we could do so much of that stuff in Tesseract. There's so little that we actually do have it on backing track. Like my vocals, when I'm singing live, I have some backing harmonies, but the majority of it, there's no auto-tune. It's all direct lead vocal. And I have worked very hard to get to a point where I can sing. It's
wildly difficult to do that.
Wildly difficult, right?
It's going back to what we were talking about before.
Like going back to that, people want life hacks, want everything here and now, fast-paced, do it. They're missing out on the experience, the lived experience of building yourself to that talent, that level of talent and understanding of your instrument. And I just wonder whether that's going to inhibit creativity or whether it won't, because of the tools that we have available to us. Yeah,
I think it might be the similar thing with AI. I think there will be a bit of a divide that happens, and some people will go, well, I'll just, because we're in a world where you can very easily record a song locally, put it online, and it could catch fire. And then suddenly you're in front of 500 people at a gig, and you haven't done the reps to know how to deliver this thing live. And you're like, I don't want to look like an idiot now because everyone's got their phones up. So I need this to sound good. So I'm going to use accepted techniques like backing tracks and live vocals to make sure I sound great. And so they might then struggle to do a back-to-back tour of lots of gigs because they haven't done those reps and, can't fall back on that. So there'll be a little bit of that, I think, where people get too much opportunity too quick to be able to do it themselves, perhaps.
Yeah.
So it's, not having that patience to suck at an instrument for a long time and then get there. And then you can play anywhere. Like one of the bands we all really like, actually, Vower. One of the things they do intentionally is they have some backing track things for some like moments of synths, like they think adds to the atmosphere. But if the backing tracks failed, you probably wouldn't notice. Like the essence of everything, they're doing completely live. And like, I think that is the sweet spot that I would love for more bands to have. Like have that, because if you're going to see something live, I want the live human experience. I don't even want to hear it like sounds perfectly like the album. There's got to be something that make it worth going out your door, traveling in to see the people on stage and feel that human connection. So the more of that I can feel and see, and with my ear perception, like detect, the happier I am.
It's like with the vocals though. You want to hear a human experience with the voice, and it's often the imperfections that actually resonate with people more than the perfection. So I just wonder whether I remember listening to like the Beatles. And on like 70s music, that's what like all our grandparents used to listen to, or parents used to listen to, couldn't stand it. Couldn't stand the sound of it. Something about it had no connection to it or anything. And obviously, I think that's a generational thing. Advances in music and new styles, and then with this, like with us, we might be the granddads. We now might be the granddads, essentially. Yeah, you get
it. Just get over it.
Just get over it. Yeah.
Time's moved on. We fucking love the roboticness. And who cares, frankly?
Let's get to the point where you get on stage and just press play.
I think the pendulum is swinging back, though. I do feel like the current era that we're in is like the past couple of years in the modern, I guess just in the modern metal space has definitely veered very far into the digital world where even if it is fully live, it is still... I don't need to over-explain it. You guys know what the kind of modern space sounds like. So I do feel there's a bit of a shift where people are getting a little bit fed up with it. And I think that will play into the hands of the bands like Tesseract that are doing everything without the backing tracks and, really focusing on the actual live performance.
We had heat with that when we started. We were like adding new technology.
So it's nothing wrong with technology. It's like, it depends on how you're using it, I think. Again,
we had like a lot of the older prog audience would come to see Tesseract, and they were like, big Rush fans and all this kind of stuff, and they're like, "What have you got a backing track for? What are you what are you cheating for?" So that's the kind of like granddad attitude that I think I've got.
Yeah.
Everyone has their own barometer, and that's what it comes down to. Like you have your own levels of what you care about, and I have my own thing, and it's probably not exactly the same thing as Burb and Drew. Like we'd have our own preferences for what we think is ideal or not.
So what if Tesseract now casually just slipped into this a few more backing tracks?
Ultimately, what I would love for bands to do is do whatever the fuck it is that you love doing, and it will represent what you want to do creatively as best as possible. Ultimately, if you like a band, you want them to do the thing that's going to sustain them and keep doing, because the choices you've made have got you to where you are right now, and we've enjoyed what you've done. You may make choices in the future. I'm like, cool, good luck with that. I've got these albums. I'll enjoy these. Off you go. That's grand. Like we don't have to all love all the choices different bands do. If it's what you want to do, fill your boots.
Yeah, I would say, Dan, why are you guys getting lazy? Why the backing tracks now all of a sudden?
Why we're getting lazy?
You didn't need these, Because I think if you've been in a situation where you haven't used them in the past, and then you start using them, then it's like, are we just,
But you're allowed to change how you do things.
Sure.
You're allowed.
Can't do it anymore. I still want to get paid.
Yeah.
But equally, that's fine. Like, no one should be gatekeeping what bands decide to do with themselves. Like, the audience don't own your process.
I think we could do more and get away with it anyway. That's what I'm saying. We never will, but we could do so much more because there's so much people are doing now and are not necessarily getting away with, but implementing. I don't want to sound like I'm picking on people, but
sure.
But whatever you like. Like, I'm not mad at the people who love bands who are fully tracked and live autotuned all the time. It's fine. Enjoy what you enjoy. It's
that.
not
I'd love
like
to give that a try. I think it's actually more difficult than what you think it is.
It can be. I was chatting to Marcus Vick of Invent Animate. He was explaining, like, because if you are slightly wrong, it will obviously snap to the wrong note, which would be more egregious. But autotune is getting better. Like Youngblood. There's a channel called Wings of Pegasus that analyzes live vocals and sees whether it's been tuned or not. And Youngblood did some recent performances doing Ozzy Osbourne covers, and they're fucking incredible. You might have seen the meme clip of Ariana Grande being like, holy shit, because she's like, how the fuck is this singer's incredible. And he's done the analysis on it. It's like, it's tuned. But it's a really modern, amazing tuning. So it's kind of gradual. It doesn't snap two notes in an aggressive way. It sort of drifts in between them. So you can't really hear it on the first go. You just kind of see it done. So we're going to be entering an era where we probably can't tell. I mean, I was watching the band last night. I won't mention who it was. And I couldn't detect much live autotune happening. I was like, well, this is great. If they have it, it's very subtle. It's a nice area. It was when they had additional backing vocals from other mics on stage. The combination of the harmonies were so exact. I'm like, there it is. Like the duality of it signaled it.
I was once backstage and there was a band that I was playing with that were using auto-tune live or tuning live. And it was so funny because the sound I could hear in the room was brilliant, but actually on stage, this person was singing really out of tune. It was really bad. God. And I'm like, whoa. That's an insight.
It's tough. But then, I would work, like, if they have an awareness of that must be tough. It must be
really tough.
Worried about, what's going to happen tonight. What if the system fails? What's going to happen?
I'll tell you what happens. Nothing.
Sorry, guys.
People just get on with it. People just get on with it. No, you just got to smile it off. Well, anyway, we digress. I just thought that was quite interesting to talk with to you guys because you're kind of more in that world than I am at the minute, and I'm hearing that on the grapevine that things are changing. It's interesting.
I agree with Drew though that the pendulum does seem to be like swaying back a little bit. Like with you guys, like if like the production and the theatrical ideas are coming more into Tesseract, if there's more of a backing track, it probably it might have like a big more of like bigger production feel. But like Dan, like you will still sing Legion. And I think that's what separates you is that you still get the human experience, even if it just sounds like maybe a little bit more full. But like another like point that I can mention is like, it's not really when it comes to live shows, but something I've been noticing, we're talking about AI, but also there's this a revival of like the new metal stuff that Steve was talking about, but also just like a lot of older emo metalcore stuff from like the 2000s is really been taking off lately. There's so many new bands that are trying to bring back that old school sound, and it feels like it's almost like a pushback to all this very overproduced stuff.
It's rougher.
That's where, and I'm seeing my community and just like online, I'm seeing a lot of discussion that people are kind of getting fed up with like the overproduction side of things. Like it still probably like gets the most amount of views and listens on Spotify, but I think there's a good portion of people that are craving something that just sounds more human lately.
I was watching a clip of Seven Dust earlier, and they've been going for a long time. One of my favorite bands, and they've released a new album. And I saw them live on stage, and Levon's like singing this new song, and he's like, "Everybody bounce!" And like nobody bounced, or nobody moved. It was just like this sea of still heads, and I'm like, this is interesting. So I looked in the comments, and they're all just old school Seven Dust fans. And all the comments were, guys, been following you for like 30 years, dude. I can hardly bend my knees, never mind jumping down. So
but I'm at a Slipknot concert, and they're like, all right, everyone get down. You could see everyone my age all going, hang on, I haven't limbered up for this. I might not get back up.
It did make me chuckle. I'm thinking, I need to take a leaf out of that. I remember, like, we're still playing to our fans, and they're probably as old as us now. So,
Yeah, that does seem to be a thing in like the prog gigs that I've experienced, where there is more of it is a spectacle. Like people aren't necessarily, there is obviously the contingent of people that are there to jump around and shit, but a lot of people will stand there like this, and they may look very unamused, but they are fully locked in with the band. Like
I am one of those people. I am absolutely one of those people.
The same. Yeah.
And then, and I think about when I look out into an audience and I see those people, I hate them. I'm like, and I'm reminded of that every time I'm at a show and I'm doing this. I'm thinking I'm having such a good time, but I know I don't look like it.
Yeah, I'm not.
It's like going to a comedy show in the audience and just smiling. Like, I'm really enjoying this. But I need your laughter. Like, come on, what are you doing?
True.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, having seen, all all of us actually have seen Tesseract live at this point.
Yeah.
One of the things, because this is something I'm interested in, when I was seeing you perform, I was going like, is there a fucking layer of live audio? I can't detect any live autotune, but there fucking has to be, because it was actually perfect, and I couldn't understand how you did that. So well done, sir.
Well, that's good, because I was ill on that tour. And,
yeah, James said, I was like, how the fuck? That's crazy.
Yeah, it was actually horrible at one point. It's a singer's nightmare. I was ill 3 times on that tour. There was one gig at the start of it where I literally had to stand on stage and not sing and just be there and rock out. It's really tough. But no, it's that's nice, because if I sing one note wrong in the show, I'll generally, used to kick myself quite bad. That's how high my standards were. So no, it's nice that you said that. It's reassuring.
Yeah.
I do try and tell my students that now as well. Is like, you build your voice up to a point where you're stable, you're good. It's called the default voice. And so you build confidence in that. So that, let's say you're having a bad day and you're singing at your baseline default voice, which is probably like 60% of your ability. It's still passable.
Yeah.
And it's still better than most people even think, and they're just going to love it. So don't put too much pressure on yourself, really. I wish I could say that to my younger self, actually.
Mm-hmm. It's not, unfortunately, it's not how wisdom works. But also to reassure, like, if you do hit bum notes, it's fucking fine. I actually also like those moments. Like, I like a reminder that it's live. There's something like I saw Dinosaur Pileup a few months ago, and they had all kinds of like technical issues, and I fucking loved it because it felt raw, and like the whole crowd was like, "We're experiencing this thing together for this one night only," and it was like actually fucking brilliant. Like, I love those moments because you fight through it, and it's like you come together, and it works for me.
Yeah,
there's no better example of that with all 3 of us experiencing when Sleep Token had the Wembley Arena show, and Vessel's voice was just completely gone, and that was like their big show. And then their camera guy had to come on stage and basically just say, "Hey guys, Vessel's voice is not working, so you guys are going to have to sing along." And it made for like, that is one of the more memorable Sleep Token gigs, not just because we were there, but like generally speaking, when people talk about their live performances, a lot of people speak about how special that was. So again, it just adds to the human side of like, this demigod. This demigod is actually just a guy who has vocal cords that sometimes don't want to cooperate, you know?
Well, it has been a treat to have you here with us, Dan.
Yes.
We don't want to take up too much of your time here, but thanks so much for the insight of the projects you're working on, the upcoming releases, the game that is ongoing as well, and teasing the brie and the death course that we are imposing on what you said for future Tesseract. Great fun. So yes, thank you. We'll make sure to put some links in the description of this to your various online places. People can go and find you as well. But massively appreciate your time joining us today.
Thanks a lot,
Great chatting, guys.
Cheers, man.